Hello students, welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So students, this is another interesting session, that is when it comes to the analysis of the stories that we have in the big anthology, that is A Silent Song, and other stories. And in this session, we are going to look at December analysis, that is by Philemon Liambo. So Philemon Liambo is a writer from Namibia. So remember, we've been looking at these short stories that we have in A Silent Song and other stories. That is systematically, and this is the 12th. It is the 12th story. So in this story, the title is December. So we are going to be able to look at some background information about Philemon Liambo is the author. That is again, we are also going to look at the relevance of the title, and again the plot. So in this story, expect characters with names such as December, just like the title. So December is a patient. We are told that he is a patient, and there is a character also known as September. So December is September's sister. So September is now the narrator and the protagonist of the story. So we have got very many characters. For example, we have got Ezekiel Shikongo, who is September and December's grandfather. There is also the nurse who takes care of December in the hospital. We also have Joseph, who is September and December's uncle. So we are going to come across very some other characters who are also minor, simply because they are just mentioned. But those that I've mentioned are some of the major characters that we have. Now, something brief about Philemon Liambo, dear students. So we are told that Philemon Liambo is a Namibian writer and former newspaper columnist for the Namibian Sun newspaper. So Philemon Liambo has also contributed social commentary articles for the New Era newspaper. So a qualified geologist, he is now an educator. So his work was included in Erotic Africa, that is an anthology of short stories published by Brittle Paper in December 2018. So Philemon Liambo is currently a novelist working on various novels. So let's look at the title of the story, that is December. So the title December is the most appropriate title for this story. Let us see why. So firstly, it is the name of the main character, that is December, who we are told is September's sister. So the story follows September's visit to her in the psychiatric ward and his reflections on her condition and the past. So the story is mainly focused on the character of December and the impact that her illness has on September and his entire family. So secondly, December is also a reference to the naming convention of September's family, where the children are named after the month they were conceived. So December in particular is as significant as she was born in September, which is unusual and creates an interesting dynamic in the story. So remember that the characters are given names based on what? That is the month. They are given names after the month they were conceived. So assuming that maybe you were born in January, your name is now to be to become February. So thirdly, December also represents the idea of change and the passing of time. So the story takes place over an unspecified period of time and covers several years. And December's illness progresses over the time. So December's name is also a reminder of the passage of time and how it can change things. So lastly, December is also a symbol of the story's themes such as loss, family, and tradition. So December's illness is a loss for the family, and September's reflection on the past and the secrets that his grandfather took to the grave are also a reminder of loss, which is also a theme that is evident in the story. So the story also touches on the importance of family and tradition in their culture, with December's grandfather believing that she was bewitched and the naming convention of the children being a reference to tradition. So in conclusion, the title December is an appropriate choice for the story, as it not only represents the main character but also captures the themes and motives of the story through the symbolism of the passing of time and the ideas of loss, family, and tradition, among some other thematic concerns that we are also going to come across when looking at the issues that are raised in the story. So on to the next thing, let us look at the plot summary of the story. Now, the story December centers around the relationship between September, the narrator and protagonist, and his sister December. So December is a patient in a psychiatric ward, and September visits her after a long absence during which he has been studying abroad. So the story explores the past and present of their family and the impact of December's illness on September and the rest of the family. So the story starts with September visiting December in the psychiatric ward, where he is greeted with hostility from the nurse because he is late. So remember, when visiting the wards, there are times, there are visiting hours, which must be adhered to. Now, back to the summary. So his son, that is December, soon runs into a former acquaintance by the name Shuveni. So, who is now a security guard at the hospital. So, Shuveni and September catch up for a bit before Shuveni has to go back to work. So, September then visits December, uh, and they spend their time together catching up and reminiscing about the past. So throughout the story, September reflects on how December's illness has affected family and how it has changed her. So it is September who runs into a former acquaintance. So we also told that September reflects on the past, particularly on the naming convention of this family, where the children are named after the month they were conceived. So September is particularly affected by the fact that December was born in September, which creates an interesting dynamic in the story. So the story also touches on various thematic concerns, such as that is tradition. When we look at now the naming convention and even family. So December's illness is a loss for the family. So and again, September's reflections on the past and the secrets that his grandfather took to the grave are also a reminder of this loss. So there is also the importance of family and tradition in their culture, which December's grandfather believing that she was bewitched, and the naming convention of the children being a reference to tradition. So, in conclusion, September returns home to attend his grandfather's funeral and bury him next to his father in the village graveyard. So this story also implies that September has not been able to make it to visit December again, as he is left with the guilt of not being able to fulfill this promise to her. So Ezekiel Shikongo, who is the grandfather who had been taking care of December, has not been able to visit her in a while, and it is suggested that he has passed away. So the story ends on a melancholic note as September is left to deal with the loss of both his sister and grandfather. So some of the major issues that are raised from this story, dear students, is we have family dynamics. There is tradition versus modernity, optimism. We also have identity, healing, loss, time, etc. So please stay tuned for the next episode so that we get to analyze these thematic concepts together. So this marks the end of the session, and thanks for watching. Keep it easy, Limo. Until next time, bye.